Hello, everyone, and welcome to Devotional Life with Paul.
And with Jeannie.
Here we are once again, and glad that you're with us.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
And I think that are we about to move on from Rahab?
Right, we're going down the list on Hebrews 11 that Paul wrote of the Hall of Faith. And we had spent time with Joshua and then Rahab. And now the next person that's listed, his name is Gideon.
Gideon, this is an exciting story. Gideon comes along about 40 years after the death of Joshua.
And Joshua lived to be 110. And there was peace with the people as he ruled. He seemed to be a really good leader.
Yes.
He was busy leading them, taking over more towns and acquiring more land.
Yeah, the land that he had apportioned and distributed to the 12 tribes. So now without not a leader for the whole nation at this time. So this comes the period which is known as the Judges. Now they're not judges like we think of judges. They don't sit on a court, and they don't wear black robes. These judges are leaders that God raises up for the specific need at the moment. I think that's probably the best way to put it. There have been other judges before Gideon, but the Apostle Paul, as you were saying in Hebrews 11, picked him out specifically. This is the Hall of Faith. And we're going to see how Gideon's faith worked, which is very interesting to highlight him. So, does that sound about right, Jeannie? Okay, what do you got for us?
Well, we're going to be in Judges chapter 6 and 7 to learn about Gideon and his interaction with the Lord. And 6 verse 1 says, "The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites."
You know how quickly we as people, and how quickly the nation of Israel would forget the Lord after his rescue of them out of Egyptian slavery and out of him doing so many miracles and bringing them into the new land, and yet leave them alone for a couple of years, 7 years in this case, and everybody's off doing their own thing.
Well, they weren't just doing their own thing, they were doing evil in the eyes of the Lord. He said, what I thought was interesting is, because this seems to be a pattern, that when the people are disobedient to God and not repenting, he allows them to go into the hands of their enemy.
Yeah.
So it's like we talked about earlier a few times ago. You can walk under that umbrella of protection, stay connected to the Lord, obey him, whatever he asks you to do. And, life is still difficult on planet Earth, but you've got him with you, and there's no defeating you as a person or as a family or as a nation when you do that. So these people began to wander again. It's like you just can't leave them alone.
Yeah, and that is the same for us today, in the sense that individually we need to trust and obey.
So what do you think about the Lord letting them be turned over to their enemies?
Yeah, I don't know. On one hand, I think of it as you will reap what you sow. That is an immutable law of God. You'll reap what you sow. You reap to the flesh. Of the flesh, you reap corruption. The Apostle Paul says you sow to the Spirit in the glory and obedience to God. Then you'll reap good things. So there is, I suppose you could, now this may be a funny way of looking at it, but the enemy has a playground. And if you go messing around in the enemy's playground, then you're going to get in trouble. You're going to find him, the enemy, wanting to run you ragged. How's that?
Yeah. And the Lord just allows it. It's like he takes his hands off. I mean, because we all could be consumed and wiped out from a toenail.
In and of ourselves, we're no match for the enemy.
Yeah. So, but when he lets us just have our way and doesn't wrestle with us, that's a scary place to be, because then the enemy can come in and do his thing. Well, the the Midianites were causing so much problems for the Israelites, and the Israelites now are afraid, and they're hiding, and I guess the people would come in and take all their livestock. If they planted their crops,
Their
they
grain.
would take it, and so they were all hiding. And this starts out with verse 7 that when the Israelites cried out to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who said, and we don't know who this prophet is. I tried to find out. And he's basically an unnamed prophet, but he's somebody that spoke God's words to the people and made a declaration. He said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians, and I delivered you from the hand of your oppressors. I drove them out before you and gave you their land. I said to you, I am the Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you live, but you have not listened to me."
That's pretty sad commentary.
Very sad. It's like how God can be so patient with us. And again, this is something that he warns us and tells us, we don't live under the law to earn anything from God, but when he gives us the law, it's for our own benefit. It's to protect us. So
and we forfeit
the blessing that he wants to give it. So that was sent out to the people, and who knows how long it was before the angel of the Lord came to visit
Gideon.
Yeah, Gideon. So, but the people had a time period where they got to digest what was just told to them from the prophet, and hopefully their heart was softened. So in verse 11, we find the angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. That just tells you how frightened he was, that he didn't even want them to see that he was threshing wheat. And so he was hiding it in the wine press when he was doing it so he could hang on to the little bit that they had.
Yeah, and the way you thresh wheat is you throw it up in the air and you let the wind blow the husk away. But he's in a cellar, so to speak, and there's no wind there.
No.
And so he's hiding out.
Yeah, he's hiding out. So when the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." And here's this guy that's, shuddering and hiding out like a coward, and he becomes mighty warrior.
Yeah, it feels like the angel has the wrong address.
Yeah, well, this is what is fun. So now we have the back and forth from Gideon to them.
Mighty
and he
warrior.
asks God why. He says, "Pardon me, my Lord," Gideon replied. "But if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us?" That is such a line that people use all the time.
Yeah.
He goes, if the Lord is with us, why has this happened to us? So he's not recognizing it is a discipline from God coming because they had turned their back on God. And then Gideon says, "Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, 'Did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt?' But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us to the hand of the Midianites." I love the fact that he was so free to say that to God when he was having this conversation.
Yeah.
And like I said, how many of us had gotten ourselves into a pickle and say, "Well, where were you, God?"
Why did God let this happen?
Yeah, not taking responsibility for the fact that they decided to not stay under that umbrella.
Or maybe I wasn't listening to him, or I did listen from him, but I chose to do my own thing.
Right. So, okay, well, we'll keep on with Gideon next time, but it's an exciting story, and I know that it's not just a story, it's an event, and we can apply this to our own lives.
Stay tuned for the next part, the next exciting episode of Gideon, the Mighty Warrior. Father, thank you so much for today, for loving us, Lord, and for continuing to teach us through your word hazards and pitfalls to avoid, and trust in you to be taken, and blessings to come from that. So help us, Lord, to walk the straight and narrow. Bless my brothers and sisters. I pray these things in Jesus' wonderful name. And everybody says,
Amen.
Amen. See you soon.